Hello, I'm going to show you how to clean, maintain, improve and enhance the colour, the patination and the general appearance of an antique bronze. In fact, any bronze, to be honest, anything at all, bronze-like. And I'm going to show it to you by using this example here. It's an antique bronze by Charles LEMIRE, French artist, or rather after Charles LEMIRE. So he died in about 1815, something like that. This bronze dates to the late 19th, early part of the 20th century. It's also Cupid here, titled, there you go, in French, Child with Bow. Now, it looks the business. Take a look at it. It looks in gorgeous condition, and generally it is, but it can be improved. And I'm going to show you how to do it. All you need, some paintbrushes, old paintbrushes, a toothbrush would do, a bowl of warm water, relatively hot, a bit of wax polish, I'll tell you about that good quality clear wax polish, and some old ropes. Remember, top tips from the world of antiques are generally not rocket science. It's very simple. So here we go. Let me show you the areas that can very easily be improved. So let's dive into all the little nooks and crannies in between the fingers. Can you see? Dust built up. A little bit of oxidization there on the thigh. Can you see that pitting? That's typical, actually, for bronze, and it's not a bad thing in many cases. It shows age and patination, but we can improve that, there's no doubt about it. Now look behind the quiver of arrows. Can you see? It's very grimy, very dusty. Right down here, that really can be improved. Around the signature, get rid of that dust there. Now, not only is this going to make the bronze look better, it is going to also maintain the bronze, because bronze really does need maintaining. It does build a nice patination, and you don't want to ruin that. You want to let it build. But there is a kind of a happy medium. Just keep it clean and protected, and the green sort of patination will build over the years. So let's get stuck in then, first of all, with a bit of warm water and some paintbrushes. Let's see if we can really improve these areas and look after the bronze effectively. So the first thing to do is, let me get this camera set up. I've got all the equipment, have you noticed? Yeah, so let's just get the cloth, first of all, warm water, nice and hot. You can use soap sometimes, but just Google the kind of soap to use on your particular bronze, depending on how patinated it is, or dirty, or old, whether it's got any, pitting to it. But just, you can't go wrong with a little bit of warm water. Just take away the obvious bits of dust and grime. And what you don't want to happen to a bronze is for the dust and the grime to oxidize and to become hard, almost like a rust. So, and on that subject, in fact, when you're wiping down a bronze, make sure that once you've wiped down the bronze and you've cleaned the dust that is obvious, that you let it dry completely before you start putting any wax on it. Air dry is good, or a hairdryer actually, but leave it as long as you can just to dry. And while you're at it, just give the marble here a little rub down. Get rid of the dust. And now what we want to do is get into those little hard to reach places with a brush, or if you don't have any paint brushes like these, then just an old toothbrush will do nicely. Now I have removed all evidence of oil and acrylic paint after, because I paint obviously. So what I don't want to be doing is putting paint in these little nooks and crannies, which certainly won't help anything at all. So in the tough to clean bits, get a really hard, stubby brush and just get in there. Bronze is a pretty tough material, so you're not going to do any harm with a brush and warm water. Now, once you've done all of that, just give it a bit of a wipe down, a dry, with another cloth. It's a very good way of getting to know an antique. I know this might sound a bit odd, but it is so true. It's a bit like a classic car. The way to get to know a classic car is clean it inside and out. And the same with an antique piece. Give it a good clean. You really get to know it. And you can spot any faults if there are any. This one's pretty good, I must say. And another thing with antiques, by the way, is you really don't need to go to any massive extent. Just improving something doesn't take very long. You don't want to ever overdo it. And that's really one of the joys of the world of art and antiques, that it doesn't take a great deal of effort to make something look better. You don't want it to look new. That's just defeating the object altogether. You don't want to kill any patination that's built up over the years. You just want to improve it, enhance it, and protect it. I don't know whether you can see, but it looks actually even better now already, just by taking the dust out of all those grooves. And it is important, because when you put the wax in, which I'm going to do once it's dried completely, you don't want to be putting wax particularly on top of dust. And for the areas that you can't really get at to dry very well, just put the numb end of a brush around the cloth and just delve in there. Now I say, get rid of all the cruddy dust. Get rid of as much of it as you can. Little bits left over. Seriously, I mean, some people might criticise me for this, but it's never worried me at all. If something is old, it needs to look old. So, again, why would you buy a piece of art or an antique that is decades, sometimes centuries old, if it looks new? Why would you want that? You don't. You're buying into its age and its heritage. So you've got to maintain that. Don't rub it away. Okay, so that didn't take very long, did it? Just a little wash down with warm water. Now we'll let Cupid dry, air dry, for maybe half an hour, and I'll see you in a split second. Right, I'm back now for the fun bit. I'm going to put some nice wax polish. So Cupid has been outside for about half an hour, totally now bone dry. First thing to do, just as a precaution, get a dry brush. I've already done it, but then just buff over, picking up any little bits of grit as you go. And actually, as an aside, the gilded areas here, this is bronze gilded, do exactly the same, just a damp cloth. Don't know whether I'm going to put any wax on there, we'll see, but be careful you don't rub too much on gilding, because it is literally gold plating and it comes off very easily. And the gilding here is pretty good. It's developing a bit of a green patination in places, which is rather nice. Again, just the little details make all the difference. So, Charles LEMIRE after Cupid with arrow, child with arrow. Actually, I said earlier on, I think that he died in about 1815. Whilst Cupid was drying, I just double checked, it didn't feel right. 1827, the artist died. He exhibited this piece, this model, in around 1814, 1815. That's where I was getting confused. You can't get it right all of the time. But remember, this dates to post his death. It's after the artist, so late 19th, early 20th century. So, clear wax. If you have a bronze that is a bit cruddy and mucky in places, you can put a brown wax on. I'll make a video when I find the right bronze that suits a brown wax. I'll do a video for it. But this is clear wax. But remember, avoid all sprays. Anything you can buy in the supermarket in a spray can, do not put onto bronze. That's silicone, and that really will ruin the patination. This is a traditional beeswax and Canoba wax wood polish, but this is stuff I made, actually. There you go, there's me. Several years ago, I made a lot of them, I sold them, I've got a few left, and I haven't got round to making any more. I might do it, in fact, I might give away a few of these tins at some point to my YouTube subscribers. But anyway, so there you go, expensive stuff to produce and to buy, but remember, beeswax and Canoba wax, clear, on a bronze in this sort of nice, clean condition. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to use my finger. This is just so joyful. And I'm simply going to rub around the body, not necessarily into all the nooks and the crannies. It's kind of just to enhance the colour of the bronze. It's almost like oiling the bronze, isn't it? Just giving it a lift. Can you see already the sheen? Well, I'll buff it off, obviously, but it will develop nicely. And I'll show you before and an after in a second. I'll pick an area. I'll show you how it's improved. You can also put it on the marble. This is like a wonder product, this stuff. This is the gilded bronze on the base, this foot. Can you see? It's a very heavy old thing, this. Can you see how it's fitted to the bronze? Just leave that alone. You can see on the base where it's scuffed and scraped over the earth. That's absolutely perfect. And the colour on the base there is nice. The worst thing you can do is get some wire wool. I've seen it before. And people wire wool, ormolu, bronze, oh my goodness me. And rather than improving, they actually kill the value. So just highlighting the areas. It's a very lovely experience, actually. And again, it's a very good way to get to know a bronze, an antique, anything at all. You'll find areas on these things that you didn't know existed. Good points and bad, that's always best to know. I think I'll put a little bit on the gilding, actually. Just a little bit on the bow, on the wings, top of the head, on the face, just like this. It is really lovely, very light, on the feet. It's a lovely thing. And that's almost it. Now just simply a clean dry cloth and buff it up. Remember though, this wax will dry hard and it dries to a kind of a white, creamy candle wax sort of colour if you don't remove it. So if you do get the wax in any of the nooks and the crannies, get a dry brush and just make sure you get all of the wax out or reverse the brush in with a cloth and pick it out. Otherwise you'll find within a day or so you've got this build-up of like literally like a candle wax stuck in the grooves. It's not the end of the world if that does happen, because you can always pick it out with a pin or something like it. So a quick buff up and I will show the end result. So here's the signature area before the clean and polish, and here it is post clean and polish. What a difference, but wait until you see the whole thing. And there you have it, that's how I prepare my bronzes. Charles LEMIRE, late 19th, early 20th century, child with bow, bronze on marble. Isn't he just gorgeous? Thanks for watching, everybody. Cheerio.